Record. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to a long-awaited sixth episode of the podcast. I'm pretty sure it's a sixth episode, though I'm not 100% sure.
It is the sixth
All
episode.
right, episode six.
Yep.
Long-awaited. Been gone for a while. The NBA season is back. Let's go. Things we are recording this on the 18th. Not all teams have played yet,
But
so
all our teams are undefeated at this point.
true, true,
That is
true.
true.
Spurs undefeated, Celtics undefeated, Lakers soon to be undefeated, maybe. Even though I think that they're going to lose tonight, but that's another topic. Um, so today in today's pod, since it's not the off season anymore, we don't really have time to go over different teams. But I think we got a decent preview of the ones that are going to matter the most. Sorry, fans of other teams, but I think we got previews of the ones that are going to be making the most noise in their respective conferences. Oh, and quick thing in case you knew, or in case it's been a while and you forgot who we are. We got me, Zero, part-time writer for Cavs Nation. Got Mang and Jimmy, and we've been doing the podcast every episode now. So today's pod we're going to be going over. First we're going to go over some news, then we're going to go over some games. We're going to look at particularly Rockets, Pelicans, and Sixers, Celtics, and that will be what we go over in the pod today. We're going to try and make it a little bit shorter, but so let's start with the news actually. So first of all, we got Devin Booker back. He played yesterday in the Phoenix Suns season opener against the Dallas Mavericks, and did pretty good. Let me look at his stat line real quick. Look that up right now.
Yeah, he did pretty well. I was pretty surprised how well they came out looking. Honestly,
Yeah, like I was pretty impressed with how good the Suns looked yesterday. Yeah, no, Devin Booker had himself a game. 35 points, 6 of 10 from 3, 12 of 19 from the field, 5 of 6 from the line, 7 assists. That's a game right there. Like, and it seems like they will still want to start a point guard next to him, and you know, if they're not going to play him at point guard, that's fine. Even though
yeah,
he seems like he could probably do a Harden thing if he played at point guard. But yeah, man, like the Suns look like they might be kind of decent. Like they're probably not going to be that great, but like they definitely seem like a respectable team. I like the kind of system they're running. Like they're definitely shooting a lot of they're shooting a lot of threes because they got the personnel to be able to do that with Anderson and Ariza,
Yeah,
who
it's
are
just
also
maybe
starting.
they're not definite worst in the West. Maybe Dallas took that spot after
Yeah,
Sacramento.
yeah, yeah, no, like they're definitely not looking like they're gonna be the definitely worst team in the West. Like they're probably not gonna have games where they get blown out by 50 on national television anymore.
I was
So,
surprised they benched Josh Jackson.
oh yeah, they did do that, huh?
They didn't play
I was surprised
McCall.
yeah, he didn't start. I was surprised.
I guess it kind of makes sense just because like if it seems like they're actually like trying to win actually this time though, and like if they're trying to do that, then Josh Jackson needs to earn a starting spot because Ariz is just kind of like better as in terms of contributing to winning right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it makes sense, but I think Josh Jackson could eventually earn that spot back if he really wants to. He had a pretty good game too. 7-11 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3, 18 points, 3 assists.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. If he can put up like 15, like 12, 15 coming off the bench and play a really good defense, then he could even close games for them potentially just because of how good his defense is. So that's definitely something to watch. Um, yeah. So Devin Booker's back. He looked pretty good. I didn't really
Yeah,
notice anything about his movement or whatever. What were you gonna say, man?
yeah, it's not just Dallas played bad defense, even though there were some possessions like that. Like they really worked the offense, and Booker really went to work, and not just ISO ball, like off screens, in motion action, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
I
So
really liked how they I really liked how the Suns were looking like
yeah,
in terms of team ball. I think they look just way 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 better. And yeah, it could be interesting. It could be an interesting team keep in the back of your head. And all right, next, Derek White of the San Antonio Spurs may only be out 2 to 4 weeks, according to Coach Popovich. I think he said that last week, I believe. So I would expect Derek White to be back maybe in the middle of November, I'd say. And that's great for the Spurs because I think that the Spurs are kind of missing a good amount of defense at the perimeter, and I think that's where losing to Dejounte Murray hurt them the most. And for example, last night Jeff Teague like dropped 27 on the Spurs, and I really don't think Dejounte Murray would have let him get that so easily. And even Derek White may be kind of an unheralded guy, but he's definitely no slouch on defense. So I think having Derek White back and the fact that he is, I think, really a true point guard. He's a combo guard, but like he really has a lot of point guard skills. I think bringing him back in November, assuming that his injury hasn't set him back a lot in terms of his progression, is going to be helpful for the Spurs. So many opinions on that, guys.
Not much I can give
Yeah.
about.
Um.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. Okay. I think I covered pretty much everything there. Um. So got a couple of extensions to talk about. First, Miles Turner, new contract from the Pacers. I believe I think it was 4 years, 70 million with what's it called? Incentives to get up to 80 million, I believe, if I remember correctly. Let me look that up.
Okay.
So like if he gets into All Star or something, he can get to 80 million.
Yeah, like all NBA, all that stuff. Yeah.
Miles Turner cannot get into All NBA. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. He could make the All Star in the East though,
True.
or something.
He's got to take a step forward though if he wants to do that. Um yeah, no, okay. Yeah, no, it's 4 years, 80 million. I think it's 70 with extensions, with not extensions, but incentives. Um so I guess I'll offer my opinions on the contract.
70 is lower than 80, so what is it?
So no, I mean like it's 4 million. No, not 4 million. 4 years, 70 million with incentives to
Hmm.
get to 80, I think is what it is.
Okay.
And so I guess I'll give my opinions on this. Like I'm a bit iffy on it personally. Like I think he's good and like I think he can definitely still take the step forward, but I think this is one of the classic cases of you either overpay or you lose the guy, you know what I'm saying? And
But I feel like I feel like in those situations though, I'm not gonna like be like I'm not gonna say it's a bad move because it's a worse move to let him walk.
I mean, are you sure about that though? Like, can you not just
For
get an
Miles Turner,
average?
for Miles Turner, I think it is. I think it is a walk. I think it's a loss to have him walk.
It's
That
an
player that
okay
you can't replace.
it's
I
an
mean,
okay deal for Miles Turner. I mean, considering how high the cap is getting, he is like slightly above average salary. That's what it is. And Miles Turner is very much above an above average center.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like I don't hate it really. It's just that like if he takes a step forward, then he's definitely 100% worth it. But he's right now he's only like 70, 80% worth it. So I mean, I guess that's not too bad. But um, you just wonder if maybe the Pacers could have used that cap flexibility. Even if they don't
He's,
get
he's
yeah.
only 22 years old, so like
Yeah, I feel like he's really young too. Like he came out of college like one and done. He was really young. Like he's been pretty good considering how young he was. Like I don't think it's that bad of a deal.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's a pretty reasonable
I
deal.
mean, also he wasn't drafted like all that high either in the lottery.
Mm.
like
Because he was.
who
Yeah,
else
go
would
ahead.
you rather have at center for that money?
Could you just not give yourself like an average starting center? Like I can't name one, but
It's NBA's not about being average. You got to be better than average. You got to
Right.
every every little bit you're better than the other team. That gets you to win.
all right.
I just feel like that he is one player that like besides Oladipo, like you need that player in order to be like a okay team. Like you're not gonna without Miles Turner, that team would be a lot worse. Like Oladipo wouldn't be carrying them to the playoffs if Miles Turner wasn't there. Honestly, like he wouldn't be able to do it himself.
Yeah, he's definitely he can help stretch the floor. He's a 7 footer and he can really get inside the paint and be an issue there. So yeah, I think if he takes a step forward, then he'll definitely be 100% worth it. But we'll see. I don't think it's a bad deal at all.
And
Um, hmm?
interesting game for the Pacers overall. Their
Yeah,
highest in minutes, 28 from Sabonis and Corey Joseph.
right.
Wow.
They didn't need to play.
Yeah, they destroyed Memphis.
Yeah, they were up the whole game.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
absolutely
they
just
were.
wrecked Memphis. Okay, so next extension, Larry Nance Jr. got shoot, what was it? Um,
44 in 4 years, I think.
Yeah,
4 years, 44 million.
yeah. It's like a decreasing contract.
Yeah, yeah. It's got the 8% decrease every year, and so I think by the fourth year it's about like a 9 million. I think it's about 9 million. I think it starts at like
The
11,
number
the
12.
upper
Yeah,
11s. Yeah, and then
But,
it gets to like
but
9 million at the end. So honestly, I kind of like okay, I may be having like some rose-colored lens or some wine-colored lens or whatever you want to call it as like sort of a Cavs fan myself, but I like the deal. I'm like okay with the deal. I kind of like it honestly. Like I think he's a good player. I think he's gonna be a guy will who has room to grow. I think he's gonna do it. And I think that I like him being able to be decent as a switching center. And I want him to get stronger so that he can defend in the post better. But I really like his energy. I think he's gonna set the tone for what Cleveland team needs to be in the future. And he wants to be
so
there. I think it's good that the Cavs have locked him up and will have him around. And if later it doesn't work out, his contract becomes a lot more palatable for trade. So
wait, so you'd be okay with paying Larry Nance 11 million in a year, but you wouldn't be okay with paying Miles Turner 17 million?
I'm not saying that I'm not okay with it. I said I'm like okay with the deal. It's just like, yeah, okay.
But
I
you're
get what
thrilled
you're
about the
saying.
Nance deal. So I think he's getting overpaid. Good for him, but he's worth less than that, I think.
Hmm. Yeah,
Got
that's a
anything?
interesting quandary.
Anything, Jimmy?
sorry,
Would you?
sorry. I was just saying that I think that like I felt that he it's not I don't think it's, I think he's being paid overpaid right now in the current year like for this first year, but I think overall I think he's not overpay for him because I don't think he was gonna get much a better deal anywhere else.
Like maybe it was only worth like what, like $7, $8 million a year on an open market, especially considering how centers are now.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair. Like with the decreasing with the deal decreasing, that makes it better. So
Yeah, the deal decreasing is good, but
yeah, they did a good job there, but yeah, maybe it could have made a little bit less. So yeah.
I want to close off on this. If Larry Nance got this deal, Julius Randle needs to fire his agent because, man,
Oh, that's a good point.
Randle he's getting paid $18 million in 2 years, so that's 9 million a year. Nance
what
is getting,
really?
yeah,
Wow, I can't believe Larry Nance is about to get
Jeez.
paid more than
yeah,
Julius Randle. Shoot, that really puts us in
got a
perspective.
bigger contract,
Okay,
longer
okay,
contract. So,
I think you've changed my mind on this deal a little bit. I'm now just like a little less than okay with it.
so
Okay,
yeah,
wow.
Julius
I mean,
Randle.
I'm more. I mean, I'm not that I'm not less okay with it. I'm just more so like Julius Randle. Like, what were you thinking?
I
You
don't know.
mean Julius? Yeah,
Like, just like,
Randall
why
needs
would
to
you
fire
agree
his
to
agent
that?
right now.
Why would you agree to that? Like, jeez.
I don't know. Like, as Lakers fans, we're blaming his agent mostly because Aaron Mintz had some beef with Rob Pelinka in their agent days. Apparently, agents are the most petty. The agents might be more petty than players. That's what I'm starting to learn.
Wow, that's
It's
crazy.
possible.
Yeah,
But yeah,
okay. So Julius Randle, if you're listening, please fire your agent. Because
exactly. And come back
Larry
to the Lakers. Come back
come back to
Yeah, right.
demand a trade to the Lakers now.
and bring Anthony Davis with you. Thank you.
All right, we'll see if we can do that. All right, so now we've gone over the news. I think that's about.
So we can continue with Julius Randle in the Pelicans and Rockets game. Julius Randle scored 25 points, 8 rebounds, 2 out of 4 shooting from 3. So I was right about him.
But was still outshined by Nikola Mirotic.
Okay, can we take a second to appreciate that smooth transition that Mang just gave us? Thank you very much. That was that blew me. That blew my mind, man. That blew my mind. Okay, but anyway, we're talking about Julius Randle. He had a great game last night against the Rockets. Man, let's just start with the let's start with this game, man. Like Rockets had absolutely no answers for AD, Randall, and Mirotic. They were just at that. Dude, I swear, like I was watching the game. I was watching like the Spurs versus Timberwolves game. Great game, by the way. On my computer, and then like I had the Rockets game on TV, and like I swear, every time I looked, I just saw Nikola Mirotic just bomb a three, and I'm like, well, sheesh. It was like 20 points apart every single time I looked, or like 15 at the least.
6
So
out of 8 from 3.
yeah, Mirotic had like the game of his life. Like that was such a good pickup for him, man. Um, shoot, honestly, Mirotic is probably better for them than DeMarcus Cousins. Like it's just a fact because we're in this era now where AD's been forced to move to center because he's just immensely better at center, and Mirotic plays power forward next to them. Mirotic can kind of do it all: shoot, take you off the dribble a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. Take you off the dribble a little bit, and just wow, like really seemed the Republicans are really clicking yesterday, man, and they got a lot of shooting. They can score, and if you can't defend them on the inside, like you're gonna get destroyed. Like even if you're a team like the Rockets. I'm gonna close ESPN, guys. Hold on. Okay, but yeah. Anything else you want to point out, Mang? Anything about Julius Randle in particular?
I'm trying to look at the lineup data. Um, so Drew Holiday and Rand. Wait, let's just take all of this. So the highest point differential between two players is all of them have, and most of them have Anthony Davis, but Randall and Drew Holiday 11 points. Drew Holiday's all over this place. Drew Holiday played like a beast yesterday.
Yeah, he didn't even score that crazy or anything. Like,
Yeah, just like just controlling the game, man.
hmm
Right.
yeah, and Davis Bertans, no, not Davis Bertans, Anthony Davis put up 32 points, 16 rebounds, 8 assists. Absolutely insane game.
Absolutely.
Just man, dude's a beast, and they put up like 100. And this was actually fun little fact. This is the highest amount of points.
Didn't Weston have a triple double?
Who?
Someone in the game had a triple
Alfred
double.
Payton.
Alfred Payton.
Yeah, Alfred Payton.
Yeah, he had 10 points, 10 assists, 10 boards.
Like, jeez. What wonders you can do when you cut your damn hair?
Yeah, that's yeah. He was like Goku. He was training with the weights on with his
So,
hair.
did he really cut his hair?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
he
I
did.
don't know this.
Yeah, he cut his hair.
Good for him, man.
I think they made him cut his hair. Colin made him cut his hair.
Well, it worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just other things. I think I like Eton more a lot. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good player, and he usually shoots the ball well. Only hit 1 of 3 from 3, but he was efficient from the field. Anthony Davis always gonna do his thing, and hey, if Julius Randle looking like he might be a really good pickup for this team. I didn't know if the Anthony Davis Julius Randle thing was gonna work, but so far they're off to a very good start. I don't want to like make any conclusions yet, just because it's the first game, and we don't
If
know how these things go.
Randall can keep shooting decently like this, then it will be amazing for them because
Oh yeah,
the
that
only
would
question is
be.
that could he space the floor?
Why didn't he shoot threes on the Lakers like this though?
He could not. Really. He could, but not really. He couldn't shoot them at a high volume.
Hmm.
Or Luke. Well, Luke. It also might have been Luke. Like he never asked players to shoot at a high volume.
Let's look at the Rocket side of this real quick. So
Yeah.
James Harden with 18 points, 6 of 15 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3, 10 assists, 9 rebounds. James Ennis, 8 points, 2 of 5 from 3, Capella 8 points. Chris Paul 19, 6 and 5, 6 assists that is. Um, man, Michael Carter Williams 4 of 10 from the field.
Shit.
Anyway, you can read box scores. So Houston, they're getting up to 3-point attempts. They hit 33% out of 48 shots from three. What even just happened with Houston that game? Like, I think like,
Bad
and
defense.
what kind of worries me is that like this is the most amount of points Houston's allowed. Like, this was more like the Houston never allowed this amount of points last year. Was what I was trying to say.
I wonder
Um,
what changed.
and in the first,
Um,
so like, are we start? So like, here's my question that I want to pose to you guys. Are we starting to see like the sort of acquisitions slash losses from the offseason affect their defense a little bit, and do you think it's going to stay like that this season? And I want you guys to kind of discuss what you might think may be going on there.
I think so. Honestly, I mean, I like you replace Trevor Ariza with Melo essentially, and I think you see what the product is. Last night, the defense was not there at times, and they got outscored by a lot.
no, they replaced Trevor Ariza with James Ennis third.
Yeah, that's true. I think James Ennis
But
is. I think James Ennis is going to have the season of his life, though. I think he's going to easily have the best season of his career, and he's going to be a decently close approximation to Trevor Ariza.
but you look at like I'm gonna get to their offensive for a bit. Their attempts are much more balanced. Like James Harden only took 15 shot attempts and went to the
Right.
free throw line four free throw attempts. Like this is not typical of them. Like the highest free throw attempts is 5, shared by Chris Paul and Eric Gordon.
Hmm.
So like it looks like they might try to play a little differently, try
Interesting.
to have a more balanced offense and not just ISO Harden or Chris Paul.
I think they probably don't want to ISO because they probably think that may have contributed to like the injury to Chris Paul, the usage.
Could be.
Yeah.
I think that too.
Yeah, but it seemed but Carmelo not looking great defensively. That could just end. That's just gonna be a problem against teams like this that will carve you up on the inside. Like you don't want to leave him in there against like a front court of Julius Randle and Anthony Davis. Like he may just not be playable in times like that, especially when he's only like 1 out of 5 from three. If he's like bombing threes, then maybe like you keep him in. But against a front court like that, maybe just not worth it. So we'll see how Houston adjusts throughout the season. They'll probably be fine, but we'll see how it goes after some more games. Let's move on to Sixers Celtics.
Maybe if their balanced offense works, they will recover. But I think they should keep trying with this new style of a more balanced offense.
Yeah, it could be worth the time that they need to work out the kinks. So if we can move on, Philadelphia 76ers versus the Boston Celtics. That game was opening
Yes.
night, first game of the season. Boston Celtics just looked in complete control the whole game. That's about what I can say. Ben Simmons had himself a night. Ben Simmons is just an upcoming superstar. Um, and we saw it there. Like the rest of the team just kind of looked discombobulated at times, but Ben Simmons was just always in control, always doing what he needed to do, and getting to the basket, all of that. Um, his free throw shooting is super frustrating though. I gotta say that much. Like, if he could just be like a reasonable throw shooter, like 70% maybe, 70 something percent, then it would just change so much for him as a player in terms of like being willing to get to the basket, draw that contact, and go to the line, and
Right.
being able to actually be a threat when he goes to the line because he's always a threat getting to the basket because he's huge and he can just have all kinds of moves to get there. But in terms of like getting hacked when he goes there and he can't punish the other team for doing that by making his free throws, it just limits him so much, and that's why I say it's like frustrating. He's a beast on the boards. He facilitates. He doesn't turn the ball over too much. He's a defensive beast. So you got to understand where I'm coming from when I say it's frustrating. that it's not even that fact that like can't have it. He doesn't have a jump shot. He doesn't really even need that. It's if he could make his free throws, it'd just be like the ceiling would just explode for him. So, um, yeah, let's start with that. Um, what any general thoughts about this game, guys?
Um, Tatum, Tatum doing work.
Oh, yeah, he had himself a game. I was
Uh,
There was
I
this
mean, go ahead.
one shot pretty in the like 3 minutes down where Embiid was guarding him and he does this fadeaway, and it was quite Kobe-like.
Yeah,
You can see that he really like Kobe showed him stuff.
yeah.
But it was an interesting way how they play this game in terms of flow and who
yeah,
they got to.
Yeah, it's interesting because Kyrie and what's his name, Gordon Hayward had extremely rough games, like 17 points
yeah.
combined from them. They just looked
Right.
like off for the majority of the game. Like Kyrie Irving could not hit a shot, and
Aaron
they
Baines
still
did really
just
well.
oh yeah, Aaron Baines looking like he's really adapting to the stretch five thing. Um,
Yeah,
They played
and
five out a lot.
yeah, and like what's so scary about this Celtics team is that they blew out like a team that people think will probably be top three, lowest four in the East.
yeah,
And Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward only scored 17 combined. Like, it just kind of gives you like so this game I think just really kind of gives us like a preview of how like deep this Celtics team is. So
right. No, yeah,
that's gonna be the thing though. Like they have like when they go to when they have an 8-man rotation, 9-man rotation, these are all guys you could start on other teams in the league, several other teams in the
yeah.
league. So
Hmm.
that's really something that I don't think any team can match. Like the Raptors look great, but like they don't even have this kind of depth with them. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they're gonna be doing in the East. Yeah, man, they just look Celtics look great, and Sixers just have not been able to handle the way the Celtics deal with them. Brad Stevens has done an excellent job at figuring out a scheme to go out with the Sixers, and it just works like every time. So we're gonna continue to probably see blowouts like this when the Celtics play the Sixers.
Was
Um,
it their defense or was it Philadelphia's inability to score? Like,
I think it was Philadelphia's ability to score. Like I don't think the defense was all like was there to like it was like on point to like that much. But I think Philadelphia just could not score at times. Like their team was not go was not hitting shots. Like just missing shots a ton. Honestly.
yeah,
they
Robert
weren't.
Covington not being able to hit a shot, and JJ Redick and
Yeah.
Robert Covington combined were 4 of 15 from three.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
the
that's
Like
a
whole
they weren't
team
problem.
hitting
five
shots. Yeah.
5 for 26 from three. The whole
Because like
team.
I
Yeah.
watched the game. Like they had a lot of open like threes, and they were just missing. And I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah, yeah,
And Embiid,
they had a lot of stuff that JJ Redick normally hits, and it just wasn't going.
Embiid 9 for 21 overall. So like we know he
Yeah.
couldn't score against Al Horford, but was it?
Yeah, him and Ben Simmons were both like literally could not score against Al Horford. They were just like both like just like put him in their
Yeah,
back pocket. Honestly,
Al Horford is just a beast against the Sixers. Yeah, for some reason when he matches up against Tristan Thompson, anyway. Um, but yeah, that but hey, Ben Simmons had a fine game. I want to make a point about Markel Fultz. So like, let's talk about that. So the Markel Fultz experiment, as as we should call it. They decided to go with starting Markel Fultz in the starting lineup instead of JJ Redick. And that starting five with JJ Redick, Covington, Sarge, Fultz, and Simmons and Embiid was just one of the best 5-man lineups in the league last year. And it just worked so well because you had guys like JJ Redick and Robert Covington who were threats from outside, and also Sarge who could stretch the floor, and Embiid who can also manage to hit a three. And it just created so much space for Simmons, who when he had the ball in his hands and he has had a lot of space in the court to operate, could really facilitate. Um, so when you take out Redick and put in Fultz and slot him into a two-guard position, and Fultz is a guy who really needs to have the ball in his hands to be most effective at this point. and it just created so many issues out there with the spacing. Could there just be times where teams would completely ignore Fultz on defense? Where the Celtics would completely ignore Fultz on defense, and it was just kind of concerning. I think what the most concerning thing about Fultz was though was that he just looked not confident out there. Like he just didn't look like he would like he was sure of himself, like was sure of the shots he was taking, of like should I pull up or like he would just like teams would just be stepping way off him from three. And if he's not just gonna pull up and launch that one, even if it's way off, the fact that the confidence isn't there, I think is the most concerning, aside from the fact that his jump shot is still iffy. Um, so I
What
think at
makes it
this,
worse for me, and like
hmm?
seeing that is like he was. I saw him in college. He can make those shots. That's like what's like the one thing where it's like how like what happened, man? Like you were making these shots in
Yeah,
college just fine.
it's such an enigmatic situation. Like I just don't understand like what happened there. I don't
Right.
think I don't think anybody will ever completely understand it, but it's just so weird. Any thoughts about that, man?
Yeah, I'm looking at like their lineup data with Redick. Their best was +9 for a stretch of 4 minutes, while with Fultz, their best was +5 in 2 minutes. Most of the game,
Mm,
he had much more negatives, I think.
yeah, he he he
Um,
had, he had the lowest plus minus of the Sixers, and yeah, I think it's just so it's not. They kind of put themselves in an interesting situation here because I totally get why they want to start Fultz. I think they want to build up his confidence. They want to say,
Right.
here, this is your starting spot. You're the number one overall pick. You're the one who
Like yeah, this is
we
you're this is
drafted
our point guard for
you.
the future. Yeah.
We drafted you to be right here, starting next to Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. You're supposed to be part of the big three, and we're gonna act, and we're gonna give you a chance, and we're gonna treat you like you're part of the big three right now, even if you haven't
Right.
completely earned it. Okay, but we're gonna do it because we invested in you. We traded up to get you, by the way, and we're gonna like put our stock into you by doing this. Unfortunately, what it's kind of looking like is that it might just be a matter of time before they realize starting Fultz isn't gonna help them win against good teams. Like you might be able to get away with doing it against like the Magic or like the Mavericks or Suns or something, but
but
like it's just not looking
as
like the move right now. So go ahead, man.
as you said, like it's not the move right now, but you said that they're probably doing it to because
Gives
they
confidence,
invested
right?
in him and they want to continue investing in him. They want him to grow as a player. So what if like you run this out just so that by playoffs time he's more ready, or by next year when Simmons and Embiid are even better,
Yeah,
he's
but
also
like,
mid.
what are you gonna do when you realize you have to bench him if you need to win games against good teams? Because your starting unit with Redick is one of the best in the
How many
league.
games are those though? Like
Like,
What?
okay, well, they are in the East, but still, like, if they want to win like 50 games and they want to
They're
like
not going to
get
win a meaningful playoff series starting him at point guard. Honestly, they're not.
exactly, exactly.
but it is also weird that because he's not really starting at point guard, he's starting at shooting guard. Simmons is the one who's listed as point guard. So who does Simmons defend right now? Does he defend the starting point guard?
Simmons defends their best player, or one of their best players. I would think. I don't think it's a guard though.
So I'm not. I don't know. I don't know if it's consistent for Simmons. Like, I think he'll like since he might be the best defensive
I
player
think
in
they
that
just
starting
want him on
lineup.
the point guard because that provides a mismatch on the defensive side. I think he just goes back to his regular role.
Yeah, like
Right.
bench Dario Starch for JJ Redick. That I think that makes more sense than benching Markel Fultz.
I'm just not.
Eh.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I just don't think that like at some point you have to earn your spot. Like it's like the whole thing with
Right.
Josh Jackson. Like he's earning his spot because his team wants to win, and then this team who actually is trying to win, who actually probably will win, and you're just you're forcing a Marco Fultz into the starting lineup because you want to give him confidence. like
And
I get
all
you
oh,
want
and
it, but it's
also
also you got to be able to work for it too.
and you're also forcing him in there because you don't want you to embarrass your organization by botching a number one pick completely and giving up on him, basically publicly giving up on him by not playing him.
My only thing is like, I think it looks worse that you're basically trying to like you're basically forcing this rather than trying to let him like come into like this point. Like, yeah, he needs confidence, but I think playing is in general to give him confidence. Like he wasn't playing very much last year, and so like I get you want to start him, but like if he showed you that he can start in practice, and start him. But if he didn't, and you're just doing this to build confidence, it's not gonna do because when he actually is bad and he doesn't get any worse, what's there gonna be to do for him then?
Well,
You can't
Fultz
just
played 24 minutes and Redick played 29, so he is like even though he started, he was not their main guy.
Right.
I think that was more so a product of how he was playing during the game. I think if he had played like relatively like better, he would have played more. I think they want to play as possible. Like I think they want to take him out. They want him to be their starting point guard. So, and I mean, I think Brett Brown just really wants to like give this guy confidence, and I just don't know if that's necessarily the right move right now because your team is built to win right now.
No, they're not. They're built to win in a few years' time. They're not built to win right now. I don't think so. They're too young. Like this is Embiid's fifth year in the league, and he was injured for what 2 or 3 of them.
Right.
This is Ben Simmons' official second year. He's still a sophomore.
I think they're just trying to be up next after the Warriors finally finished doing their thing. They still arguably need one more star if Markelle Fultz is gonna like forget how to like do things.
They do, and I think most importantly, they need to balance out their team. They need to play Ben Simmons at power forward, not
Now,
at point guard.
now that's a take. Now, can you provide some reasoning for that one?
He's just big and he can rebound. He got 15 rebounds this game. And he doesn't shoot, so like just make him as the power forward and then get
It just
like
doesn't really seem like he's a post-up player or anything, though.
Yeah, like he
Like,
hasn't really post up though. Like, what's the point of that? You're just making
and also
you're
like
creating
you
like
might
a
as
lot of
well
space.
when he's a guy who can compute, can competently he can facilitate the offense the best way on your team, and he also pushes the ball the best out of anyone on your team. So I mean, like
yeah,
Right.
just
that's a
put
point
him on
guard.
power forward.
But like
LeBron,
he's
LeBron,
not he's not the guy who can throw it to the post and actually do something. He's probably more often not gonna pass it right back out from the post.
like take out Dario Saric and put in JJ Redick. I think
It's like yeah, in the open court, like when he's running, yeah, Ben Simmons is way better than most players. But like when his game slows down because of a half court game, he's not as good. Like he's not gonna be able to post up players like that and like have a good shot off because he doesn't have a shot to begin with.
don't have him post up from other players.
But
Okay,
but then
so
you're forcing a bad spacing issue then by putting him at power forward and making it so
No.
he has to like rebound and all that stuff though. I feel like you're putting him at point guard because you can surround him with field actors and shoot from the outside, and then he just kick it out to someone when he drives.
Well, you can do that from the power forward position. It's just instead of having someone like Dario Saric, you can have JJ Redick. You can fill that with real shooters.
I mean, I think
You
we
can still
just
play a power forward, and he can still be the point guard for your offense. It's all
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't play. Balance out your team. Get the right personnel around them.
I mean, guys, it's 2018. Why are you even arguing about positions? You know?
Well, because there's still like some players still have a position. So
Yeah. Yeah, I was joking, but I mean,
instead of like having 3 power forwards, have like 1 power forward and 2 guards.
someday New Orleans is gonna run out like five power forwards and just overwhelm everyone.
Yeah, they
Was that pretty much what Dallas is trying to do? They're trying to build like players that are just all above like 6'4" at least to try like start.
Isn't
That's
Luka
what the Lakers are
Isn't
doing.
Luka Doncic a power forward like apparently too? Like
Pretty much, yeah.
so make Ben Simmons into Luka or something. I don't know.
I mean,
Well,
Luke can score a lot better than Ben Simmons can, in my opinion.
That's
So
true. Well, yes. Well, I don't know. I don't know about that one yet. Maybe
you
I
know,
think
more.
he
Maybe,
does.
maybe
As a
more
better
ways
scorer,
to
he can
score.
score way. Oh, that's the point. But he's a way better scorer than Ben Simmons is right now. I mean, that's what happens when you're in the professional league for like 3 years already. So you learn how to score.
Mm, okay. All right.
I mean, right now, I think if we're off, that's why I think Luka Doncic would probably be the rookie of the year because he probably would be able to put the most counting stats this year of all of them.
Hmm. Okay. All right. So I actually think that covers like pretty much the stuff that we wanted to talk about with the so we went over news, we went over the Rockets and Pelicans, we went over the Sixers and Celtics. What do we have tonight? We got the Blazers playing the Lakers in LeBron's season opener against on the road
on the
in a
road.
first
Yeah.
time in a Lakers uniform. Wow.
Against this is the Blazers' first game without Paul Allen, right?
Yeah.
Yep. It's gonna be really interesting to see. I really want to watch that. When is that? On Saturday, the Rockets against the Lakers. I really want to watch that.
Yeah, like Lakers Rockets has sort of been a Lakers season home opener
I
tradition.
can't wait for the Rockets like Warriors game. Honestly, the Warriors might they run off the court.
And I so like my thing about the Warriors is that we don't know anything about them until the playoffs, and I don't think that like it just kind of
I
seems
think
like they just
What about
don't need to care about the regular season, you know?
I think
what
they
about
try to get up though for the teams that are probably going to be there. I think they do
I
try
mean,
and
the
get up.
Rockets beat them 2-1 in the season series last year, so
what
And
about
it
the
was a close series.
Warriors
I
Jazz
don't,
game?
they might lose by 30, and nobody should care. Like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, but I don't think the Warriors are going to lose by 30 to any team this year. I think they're going to just like
No, they
they're going to
won't.
do their they're not going to
L-
lose by 30.
lose
They're
by
going to be like
30 in what? What'd you say?
they're not going to lose by
They're,
30 to any team this year.
I
The
mean, they did
Warriors.
last year.
they did against
I,
who?
The Jazz.
Oh, they're playing the Jazz on Friday,
Yeah.
and we didn't get to talk about the Jazz in our season previews.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that like the Warriors can get blown out by 30. Like they literally got blown out by 30 in Utah last year, like near the playoffs. It was very close to the playoffs, like last like
So was
15
anyone
games or
on a
something.
minutes restriction?
I feel like
Um,
there was
I
to some degree. I think like at that point you probably have to have some restrictions on them.
Because if no one is on a minutes restriction and they're down by 30 and like the by the half, they're gonna come back.
Yeah,
I'll look at this. I want to see who was playing that game. I want to say they had everyone that game. Um, but you know, yeah, it's just concerning, man. Not concerning, but I just kind of hate watching the Warriors. Well, not watching them, but like it's just kind of frustrating that we never get to see the Warriors until the playoffs
Yeah,
because they literally just do not
yeah.
care at all during the regular
and we
season.
don't. Do
They
we
don't
care
need
to be
to.
honest?
What do you mean, do we care?
I don't care. Like I did not. I barely watched any Warriors until the playoffs last
Okay,
season.
no, no. When they got blown out by 30 in Utah, they had all four All-Stars who played
Mm,
30 minutes.
Hmm.
So it's stuff
yeah,
like that that
yeah.
frustrates me about the Warriors. You know what I'm trying to get at? It's stuff like that that frustrates me about them.
Well, I
They're
mean
Something
that's
good.
they're like the
One.
spoiled. They're like that kid who like does not
what
study at all.
did they run cold from three that night or what? I must have that has to be an issue. They have you just run cold from three and
Yeah,
just
they
get
were
blown out.
5 of 25 from three.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, it's just stuff like that that frustrates me. It's like I'm just like, come on, like we know you're better than this. We know that you wouldn't be losing by 30 on the road in the playoffs. You know, like they don't need to play
Yeah,
with that same intensity all year. Like there's no reason for them to at this point because they have proved everything, and they already know that they're the best team in the world, and like nothing's gonna change that unless there's some catastrophic injury. But it's just frustrating. So to not see them
Yeah.
at full power, I guess. But anyway, it makes sense, I guess. So yeah, that's my little rant about the Warriors in the regular season. And what's even worse is that people are gonna like there are gonna be these games where they lose by 25, they lose by some buzzer beater or something, and people are gonna be like, well, maybe the Warriors aren't all we cracked them up to be, and then the playoffs are gonna roll around and people will be like, oh, so that's how it is, yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel it's gonna happen for a lot of teams this year, though. Like all the teams are like, I feel like after Philadelphia with Philadelphia after the Boston game, like man, not that cracked up we thought they were gonna be,
I've
because
always I've
they
always
just
been
lost.
lower on Philadelphia this year, to be fair, and to me, but
I feel like every team's gonna have that loss this year. Like you're gonna see like probably Toronto like take a loss, you're gonna be like you shouldn't be losing that game. Like if you guys are wanting to like win, it's like I feel like that's gonna happen to like most of these teams. Honestly, like none of these teams are perfect, and they're gonna be like they're gonna have lapses in like they're gonna have lapses in their play a lot because they just have that sort of like mentality at times.
yeah, yeah, that's all thing. But yeah, maybe when the Warriors come around the playoffs, they'll probably be pretty good. We won't see them until then, though. So yeah, I think that about covers it for the pod. We had a little nice little discussion there at the end. Talked about news, talked about a couple games, and we'll be back probably sometime next week or something. Talk about some predictions for season awards. Because what I want to do for the pod actually is I want to predict season awards um like every 20 or so games. So after every
Until you
team is
find the most improved player.
facts, okay. I like it. This is right off the jump. So like every 20 or so games, I want to like do season predictions, and we're going to talk about why our stuff's changed, and maybe at the end we'll see who got the stuff and how close we were to all of it. So yeah, I think that'll be it for this episode of the pod, though. Thank you guys for coming on, and thank you guys for listening. So yeah,
See.
Yep.
see you guys.